Fenty Beauty by Rihanna has released a couple new complexion products for spring 2019. So on Friday, January 11th, I visited my local Sephora to test them out. First item up is the Pro Filt'R Instant Retouch Concealer. And I also picked up the Pro Filt'R Instant Retouch Setting Powder. The Pro Filt'R Concealer is available in 50 shades and also in various undertones, just like the foundation. Concealer retails for $26. It's also marketed as a full coverage concealer, so it's supposed to have quite a bit of pigment added to it. It also is supposed to be sweat proof, transfer proof, crease proof, a lot of proofs attached to it. The Pro Filt'R Loose Setting Powder is available in 8 shades. It retails for $32, and this powder is supposed to be very lightweight, supposed to give you that soft, silky texture on the skin. You can use it to set your under eye concealer, set their Pro Concealer, but also set and extend the wear of your foundation, whether you use their Filt'R foundation, the Pro Filt'R foundation, or of course from any other brand. Fenty made it very easy, I feel, for us to pick our shades in both the setting powder as well as in the concealer. So whatever your number is for your foundation, so your existing foundation shade, that is what they recommend you pick as far as your skin concealer shade in their Retouch concealer. With the loose setting powder, it's already like, here's for this number range within the foundation, here's one if you want to brighten, here's a shade if you want to set. So I picked out 4 of the shades within the Pro Filt'R concealer. I'm going to tell my friend to leave a comment on this video. She actually was with me. She saw everything because I did not film the try on portion inside the Sephora store, but she can vouch for my experience and how many times I said this. But I'm applying number 390 underneath my eyes, and I actually brought my own tools, my own brushes, my own wipes. I tend to do that when I go to Sephora. So I'm blending out the concealer underneath my eyes, and with the first initial blend, I was saying, ooh, what is this? Did I get some in my eyes? Because it wasn't burning, but I was feeling a sensation. So my first thought was, is there coconut in this concealer? Because I'm allergic to coconut. But again, it wasn't a strong feeling, but you know what it felt like? I turned to her and I said, Candace, it feels like there's this vapor, like there's something in the air around my eyes. And she was also applying the concealer. I said, do you feel that? And she's like, no, I don't feel that. Also, I kept sniffing the wand of the concealer because to me, it smelled like paint. It was a very faint smell of paint. And I was smelling that too as I'm blending. And I said, Candace, do you smell what I smell? And she's like, I don't really smell that. Now, I have a very keen sense of smell. I can't see that well. I wear contacts, but I can smell really good. I can hear really good, and I can smell really good. And I smelled, I swear, I smelled paint. I tried to look up the ingredient too to see what that would have been, but I couldn't find it, to be honest. So it could have just been a combination of something in the ingredient list that's causing that. I tried on 380. I tried on 385. 385 was beautiful underneath my eyes as well. It was just a subtle brightness. That's just what I like. Just a little bit up a notch from 390. Number 370 was much too light on my skin. I did show it to Candace. I just kind of applied it right here on my cheeks, and it was just like ashy. It was just much too light for my skin. So I just went ahead and purchased number 390. I wanted to try that one first. Again, keep it in mind, all the claims of the brand is stating about the concealer. I'm thinking, great, I can use it underneath my eyes to conceal, but also the type of concealer where I will use it to spot conceal and to cover any dark spots. So that's the concealer shade that I chose. Now with the setting powder, I also took actually this brush, which I tend to use for any type of, I would say like a brightening, like a blur, pore type of a powder. And I'm kind of thinking that is what this is as far as for my preferences with this product. The smell from the powder is the exact same smell from their actual foundation. So the foundation smell is like a soft powdery scent. That didn't alarm me, but I'm swirling it, I'm setting it, and again, I'm starting to feel that sensation again from the concealer. Wasn't alarming, but it was like something is there underneath my eyes. So I'm setting it, and I liked how it just smoothed it out. Also, the concealer at that point did not feel drying underneath my eyes. It has that creamier type of a consistency, like a creamy eye cream. And the powder is definitely weightless. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin or anything like that. So we went ahead and was shopping in Sephora. We had lunch. When we actually left Sephora is when that feeling, that sensation went away underneath my eyes. So probably about a good 30-45 minutes. I did wear the concealer throughout the rest of the day, and here's the footage. And usually this tends to be the same thing with most of the concealers. I would say 99% of the concealers that I do review here on the channel and I show in a demonstration, they don't crease underneath my eyes. So the concealer does not crease. It didn't get into anything that was existing as far as my eyes, and the powder itself wasn't, as far as gathering, it wasn't again showing as far as cakiness or whatnot. It just laid on the skin. The next day, which is Saturday, I went ahead and just put on my foundation. So I just put on the Fenty foundation and the concealer, as well as setting it again with the powder. I just wanted to see how it would go with the Fenty foundation. Same thing, I open this up and I can smell the paint. There's something in here that is causing that smell, but it's not lingering throughout the day, but it is something that I smell when I'm putting this on. Now, I'm looking at this point on day 2. At this point, I got my foundation on. I'm looking for, not only is it covering the darkness really that's stuck up there in my under eye area, I also want to test the concealer out to see if it's going to spot conceal. Every time I've tried to cover any type of pigmentation or dark spot, it just is not laying flat. It's raised, and most importantly, it is not covering it. It's not even covering it, I would say 50%. It's at a good 15%, 20%. So the claims about it being full coverage, I feel, are completely false, and it is just little to nothing is what I'm seeing. And even in the darkness region underneath my eyes, especially when I look down and I can see it, I'm still seeing the darkness there. Also on Sunday, what I did is, because I was thinking, okay, I'm not really having as much coverage maybe as I want to see underneath the eyes, using a very small amount. Let me just make that clear. I went ahead and just pulled out my concealer, my Tarte Shape Tape. I already used that to spot conceal, which will cover a dark mark 100%. So I started to put a little bit of the Shape Tape in the inner corners, and then I added some of this just to start to buff. And the sensation that I felt on day 1 inside the Sephora store started to increase more when it was mixed with another concealer. Now that was with that brand, Shape Tape. But for today, for example, I mixed in Age Rewind. I did the same thing because I was just curious. I'm like, maybe you just weren't meshing with the ingredients with that one. Same thing. So it seems to not want to be mixed with another concealer on my skin, which I don't even classify my skin as being sensitive. It's not offering the pigment that I'm expecting, and I am having some sort of irritation, some sort of skin irritation. The smell, the paint smell, again, it's not a huge paint smell, but I smell it. I'd be curious to know if you have smelled something as well, or maybe I'm just alone, but I don't like that. And most importantly as well, it's not covering up imperfections on the actual skin. I miss the days in which concealer was like that. It seems now it's gone to the point where concealer is only supposed to be used under your eyes, and it's all supposed to be bright instead of actually concealing. Where you're actually underneath your eyes, you're bringing all your imperfections out in the open. And also with this concealer, with actually a lot of concealers, if you're experiencing issues with cakiness because of creasing, excuse me, well, also cakiness, because I have stated that I don't crease underneath my eyes. The smallest amount that you can use and build up and spread, that is the #1 tip I can tell you. Creasing, when I am approached that way, that's what I say back. Are you using a lot of product? Because creasing occurs due to an excess amount of using the product. That is the case. It's not necessarily 100% only because you have lines under your eyes. So your application technique is key. Watching reviews and seeing with this concealer the whole tribal council triangles going straight across and all the way down, and pressing and patting into the skin with a sponge or a brush. I mean, our skin is not taking the concealer and pushing it down. Think of it that way. It's blending out and smoothing out, but then it's just sitting there. Almost like a sun, you know, sun baking down on a desert. Then you come down, then you go to use, the analogy, coming down the mountain. Then you use the concealer, or the setting powder. Stay on track, Stephanie. Use the setting powder to, what I'm trying to say, conceal. Use the setting powder to set your concealer, and like the sun baking down on the desert, it's going to start to crack. No matter how loose and weightless the powder is. That is the cakiness. That is the creasing. Moving on to the Pro Filt'R Loose Setting Powder. This is something that I actually really do enjoy. Now again, there are 8 shades, and like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, they've made it very easy, I feel, for us to pick our shades out. So I'm going by my foundation shade of 390. So they had Honey, which is what I picked out. Honey is what would be considered my brightening shade. I'm seeing that my under eye area is smooth. It even looks smooth in the flip down mirror in the car. I've noticed that. It does not go into any smile lines. I can just lightly buff it into my skin. This is usually the brush that I use for that. Blend it into, sometimes I'll go over everything on my face. It's a nice powder. I like that. It feels very soft. Again, it has that soft scent to it. I'm pleased with the powder, and I'm pleased with the actual color. I went with Honey. Again, that was what was recommended, and I feel that this, with my warm undertone skin, matches me perfectly. I also got a sample of Cashew, because this was the one that was right above Honey. And Cashew actually has more of that peach pink undertone. But Banana, I feel, is a shade that is best suited for the number category that it's recommended. Banana was in the number series for Candace, my friend, because she is actually within the 200s for her Fenty foundation. So it blended right on her and looked fine. But I'm noticing from the comments on the review videos I'm watching, or a lot of comments just on Instagram, I'm noticing a lot of darker skinned women and men are picking up Banana for their skin. I don't understand that, because it's marked for, you know, your shade. You just run the risk of it looking very ashy on your skin, because you're in the 400s and down, put it that way, because the comments are stating I'm 490, I'm 450, I'm 410, and they're picking up Banana. And it was, in my mind, I'm thinking, why are you picking up Banana? It's just going to look up so ashy on you. At the end of the day, you do your own thing. If you want to pick out this shade and put it on and be, you know, happy or whatnot, you do you. But I'm just giving you these recommendations that, depending on your number with the foundation, try to go with the powder that's best suited for your skin tone, for your undertone. So I feel Honey is best for me. I feel Banana is best for the lighter skinned women and men. And then of course there's a lavender shade for brightening. I even tried that on my hand, and that was just stark white. Because that's for paler skin, very light skin. And then there's other shades as well. And then the darker shades, so darker, deep, rich skin tones, you can use that to cover your, set your concealer, but it's also adding that brightness as well. I do hope the swatches, the experience, so forth has been helpful for you if you have not picked out your products yet. And if you have any additional questions, you need any further assistance, please leave them down as comments and I will get back to you. Have a wonderful day or evening, everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by and watching. And as always, I'm going to see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.